Hello, everyone. I'm Sean.
This is Hoon.
And we are the Courageour Frights back once again for another TV review.
Yes.
So this time we're reviewing The Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah, the whole season. We didn't do any... we watched the episodes, but we didn't actually talk about them, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, and this is might be one of our more timely episodes, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Because we're usually like the week after.
Yeah. Actually on the day that it came out.
Yes. It won't be uploaded that day, but it'll be uploaded probably in a day or two.
Yes.
Alright, so this of course is the most recent season of The Mandalorian. So I'm sure
this was a very, I don't know, really controversial, but maybe it is considered controversial. Because it wasn't, a lot of people didn't resonate with this one compared to the other two seasons, that's for sure.
Kind of lackluster compared to the other two seasons. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do kind of a brief overview of each episode, and then we're going to go into a lot of detail for the finale, because that just came out, whereas the other episodes have been out for a while.
The other episodes are just running on our memory, so
right.
So it might be spotty at best.
Especially based on our memories.
Yeah.
All right, so Chapter 17, Episode 1, The Prostate.
Yeah, the prostate.
Or the Apostate, sorry. So the caption on Disney Plus just says, "The Mandalorian begins an important journey."
Yes, very important.
Is it though?
Yeah.
So this episode, from what I remember, about half of this episode is dedicated to Din Djarin's obsession with resurrecting IG-11.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like the whole episode.
Because he's in love with him or something? I don't understand.
I don't understand why he just wants that specific droid. Even those other guys are like, no.
Yeah, Babu Frick's like, get new droid, this one Poodoo.
Yeah, Poodoo.
So, but he's obsessed with it, but for some reason, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it literally tries to kill them all.
Yeah, there's like a Terminator reference where IG-11 tries to murder them all.
Yeah. And
why he's obsessed with this droid anyway, who knows? Because initially he was programmed to kill Grogu anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's that, and then the other subplot is that a bunch of pirates get drunk and then think that the school's a bar.
Yeah, I know. He's like, no, it's a school. It's a bar.
It's a bar. And then they are so adamant about this that they have a gunfight in the streets.
Yeah.
And some of them are killed. And then they go back and complain to Davy Jones.
Yeah, Davy Jones and his seaweed face? I don't know.
Yeah, he's like a seaweed man. And that's basically that episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, episode 2, chapter 18, The Mines of Moria.
Yes. The
Mandalorian and Grogu explore the ruins of a destroyed planet. So, not just any planet. This is Mandalore.
Yeah, Mandalore. I guess the end of 17, he goes sees Bo-Katan, who's just literally sitting in her chair for like 15 years.
Yeah. So, Bo-Katan is in a rough spot in her life. So, after the events of season 2, she ended up with a cruiser and a fleet and a whole bunch of followers, and she squandered it all to become an NPC.
Yes.
Who just sits on her throne.
I mean, not just regular, it's like power.
She power sits. Her legs are like spread
yeah.
Just hanging out all the time. She's the most ladylike of all Mandalorians.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, she just sits around waiting for Din Djarin to show up to activate her dialogue scenes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then when he's not around, she just continues to sit on that chair forever. Yes. And because everybody else got tired of her just sitting on the chair waiting around for Din Djarin to show up to activate her dialogue, they took her fleet and left.
Yes.
While she was sitting on the chair. So she's kind of in a bad spot right now.
Yeah.
Because of her evil castle.
Yes.
That nobody wanted to stay at.
And Din was like, I need your help to go to Mandalore. And she's like, no.
She's like, no. And then he goes anyway. But I guess we have to backtrack a little bit because IG-11 subplot went nowhere at all. Every character seems to have like a legacy character.
Yes.
That they're attached to. And Din Djarin being the simplest man in the galaxy, his legacy characters are 5.
Yeah. That kind of fits, actually.
The droid that was broken in the first movie.
Yeah, literally goes 2 steps and blows up.
Yeah, he's got a bad motivator, which that's relatable.
Yeah.
But he he's still broken.
Yes.
After 30 years, but he's still somehow a character. So they go to the mines of Mandalore, so they being Din Djarin, Grogu, and R5.
Which I guess that's another part of the Apostate Chapter 7, where he's trying to get back to become the Way or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they need to go to the mines of Mandalore, basically, because he's like, that's not broken. Because
yeah, he got kicked out of his cult in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, Vile kicked him out.
Yeah. So he got kicked out of his cult by a cult of 3 members in Book of Boba Fett. And then we find out that his cult actually has a lot more than 3 members.
Yeah, like a lot more members.
There's like 50 of them, but they live on a moon where there's like kaiju crocodile turtles that eat them on a daily basis. So anyway, he goes to Mandalore because he has to bathe in the living waters.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a great way to pick up a brain-eating amoeba or something. Pretty sure that's the Florida Everglades or something. But yeah, so he has to go to the living waters and bathe so that he can be like baptized or something again.
Yeah, and then prove that he went there with the water.
So he can become a born-again Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And so he does go there. He goes into the mines. He finds out the planet is in fact not cursed.
Yeah.
Which is good to know because it was carpet bombed by the Empire.
Yeah.
Nobody put a spell on the planet.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's not cursed.
Covered with chuds, basically.
Yeah. They go down into the mines and he finds like the Morlocks from like
Morlock. I don't know what
Time Machine.
Yeah, I don't know what those things are supposed to be.
I don't know. But yeah, Chud.
Yeah.
And he beats them up without too much difficulty, but then he goes deeper into the mines and he finds Discount Grievous.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Whatever that thing is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this whole thing was like, it's like a droid or something that it needed blood?
Yeah, just
I don't know what it was.
Blood out of people.
I don't know what the point was that. I don't know what that thing was.
So he tells Grogu to go get help. And so Grogu gets in the ship. He goes back to Bo-Katan, activates her dialogue cutscene again.
Yes.
This time, she's all pissed off because she thinks it's Din Djarin again. She's like, I'm going to kick him off my planet for good.
Never to come here back again.
Yeah, and it's Grogu. And then she's like every other character in the series is like, oh my god, how can I help the little baby?
It's like, where's Din at?
Yeah, everybody turns into like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
they're around little cute kids or whatever. They're all like, oh, they're precious. And then any other character is like, you donkey.
Yeah, you donkey.
So she immediately leaps to Grogu's aid, goes to the planet, gets the Darksaber, and defeats Discount Grievous easily. Which comes into play later.
Yeah, that's like I guess a foreshadowing event.
But seems sort of pointless at this point in the show.
Yeah.
That's a running theme. Everything seems pointless.
Yeah, it's kind of like at this point, it's like, what? That had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. So while they're losing viewership, they're attempting to string things together.
Yes.
So anyway, I think that's the most important thing about the mines of Mandalore.
Actually, after that, it's like Din Djarin walks into the water and then slips and falls out 50,000 feet
we do have to talk about that. Into the bottom
of the ocean.
Yes. So he does make it to the living waters, but Din Djarin being Din Djarin just takes 2 steps and then falls down like 300 feet into the abyss. And Bo-Katan has to fish him out.
Yeah.
But while she's down there, she sees the Mythosaur.
Which is like, that's what the first Mandalorian, I guess. Is that like that? It's like the I don't know, like the mythology or something where the first Mandalore saw the Mythosaur.
Well, he like rode the Mythosaur.
Oh, rode the Mythosaur out of the living waters.
I guess he tamed the Mythosaur. It was like Mandalore the Ultimate or something. And so that's like a running theme where Bo-Katan's like obsessed with possibly taming this Mythosaur.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler, that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's pointless. But anyway, episode 3 is The Convert. That one is the weird episode that almost feels like an Andor episode.
Yeah, it's like, it shifts gears, because it kind of like, at the very beginning of the episode, for like maybe like 5 minutes, it basically shows that like, I think Bo-Katan takes Din Djarin back to like the convert or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is the way. You didn't take your helmet off since you left there, right?
Yeah.
okay, you're part of whatever their
Yeah, it's
group
just part of
is.
their group all of a sudden.
And then it shifts gears to like some other thing, and then talking about the imperial people, like, getting assimilated into society.
It's like their amnesty program or some shit. And it's all about Dr. Pershing, who was the cloner from the first season.
Yeah.
So, like, in case you don't realize, I guess the entire plot of all 3 seasons has been that Moff Gideon has wanted Grogu's blood.
Yeah.
And we'll find out a little bit about that towards the end.
Yes.
We'll talk about that at the end. But that goes back to this. And Pershing was the scientist who was, like, extracting Grogu's blood.
Yeah.
And there's the communications officer or somebody who I don't think ever actually spoke.
The communications officer that doesn't talk.
But in this episode now, all of a sudden, she's a major character.
Yeah, she's like a major character because she's like, I don't know, I think she works for, like, Moff Gideon.
She does.
Still.
But it's all secretive at that point.
Yeah, she's like a secret agent.
Yeah.
Triple agent, quadruple agent.
And we see how, like, horribly ineffective the New Republic is.
Yeah, because Dr. Pershing actually legitimately wants to, like,
help.
Yeah, help out the New Republic and stuff. And he's like, why are we destroying these items? And they're like, just destroy them.
Because
like,
it's got the Empire's
logo. Yeah, it has
logo.
the Empire, so just destroy it all. He's like, couldn't we just use this stuff to help? Because not everything they did was evil.
Yeah.
I think he was like, since he was a cloning expert, that's like apparently outlawed for the New Republic.
Yeah.
You can't do any of that in the
nothing that
in
actually
the New Republic. Yeah, because that's like really bad.
Yeah, nothing that actually is useful is allowed.
And he even states in like the very first scene in that episode, he's like, I can use this to make like livers and stuff for people's kidneys and stuff like that, which is like actual medical type of things that you could use, but they're like, no.
They're like, no, we don't want anything that's efficient.
Yeah.
So that's basically that episode.
Yeah,
she betrays him, and then she like cranks up this machine that basically like flays his mind.
Yeah, he's like, it's a mind flare. It's like, no, it's not. It's just a thing that will slowly take your memory away.
Yeah, so a mind flare, though.
But it's like, no, it's just a gentle current. But she turns to like max, like even higher than max, I guess.
It's like melts his brain.
Yeah.
And then chapter 20, episode 4, The Foundling. So this is the episode about, well, it says Din Djarin returns to the hidden Mandalorian covert.
Yeah.
But, like, this episode's pretty much about the baptism of Jon Favreau's son.
Yeah.
So,
much.
Pre Vizsla is played, or Paz Vizsla is played by Jon Favreau, or at least voiced by Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Who, of course, is the showrunner and writer.
Yeah.
And he's the guy we keep calling Vile, because he looks like a character from Mega Man X.
Yeah, he's from Mega Man X, is like the bad guy. He looks exactly like him.
Yeah. And so is his son. He's like a mini Vile. So anyway, this kid gets captured by a pteranodon.
Yeah.
And like, so this pterodactyl takes off with this kid, obviously to feed him to her young.
Yeah.
And so Bo-Katan, being the leader of all Mandalorians, she gets a warband together to go chase down the pterodactyl.
Yeah, 'cause they were just gonna like leave him.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it.
Right, and then she's like, "We have jetpacks," and they're like, "Oh yeah." So they chase after this pterodactyl thing, but then they decide to camp out in the woods for like a week or something.
Yes.
Just have fun, just camping out up in the mountains.
We learned that if you need to eat something, everyone just leave.
It's
like, let's eat something. Everyone just leaves.
Everybody just leaves. So we learn a little bit about Mandalorian culture.
Yes.
So who is the Mandalorian? And it's like, well, maybe the Mandalorian was the friends we met along the way.
Yes, exactly.
So anyway, they camp out for days instead of just going out there and saving this kid. And then they eventually get around to it, and by some miracle, he hasn't been eaten yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really strange. Especially there's 3 of them, and they took them with them.
Yeah. We also, in the same vein as finding out that Mandalorians have to take their helmets off to eat or whatever, we also discover in a previous episode that Din Djarin like doesn't understand a single thing about Mandalorian culture.
Yes.
So much so that he's like completely unfamiliar with like their equivalent to chicken soup.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't understand like the most basic like customs and food and stuff. Like he's just completely oblivious to everything.
Yeah, he's just everywhere.
So Yeah, that's basically that episode.
Yeah,
like that's not.
It's not. It's kind of like it's a strange. Like I don't know if it's just kind of showing like
It's basically inconsequential, other than to build up the relationship between Paz Vizsla, his son, and then like repairing the relationship with Din Djarin.
Yeah.
Because they hated each other in the previous season.
Yeah.
And by that I mean Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He like tried to take the Darksaber off of Din Djarin, and he.
Yeah, because I think the wasn't Darksaber like forged by like the Vizslas or something.
Yeah, it's like his
so he's like
line
I want
or something.
it back to my line or something.
Yeah, everybody has it rules the Mandalore or whatever, and so it's kind of building that relationship back. Most of the season, the main overarching theme basically is getting the Mandalorians to get over their differences and join together.
Because they still are, I guess, the non-helmeted people and like the Watchers are kind of still like outcasts almost. Yeah. So, but there's not that many Mandalorians left, so it's like they gotta like repair all this thing. And I guess Bo-Katan's kind of like your catalyst for all that.
Yeah. So she walks both ways, as the armorer says. So then chapter 21 is episode 5 called The Pirate.
Yeah.
So the people of Navarro need protection from rampant pirate attacks.
Yeah, because they the pirates come and attack. It's not even a rampant pirate. It's like a pirate attack.
Yeah, it's just one.
Because they're coming back to like avenge all the guys that got killed at the
that were drinking that were getting drunk at the school. So the pirates come back, and this time they want to build a brothel at a daycare.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. But I guess this kind of shows, but like Din Djarin was like, let's go help them.
Yeah.
Because the one cop that like patrols every single...
The one cop in the whole galaxy.
Yeah. That could just control, like, he patrols everything. He's like, he goes to the New Republic, because
Carl Weathers
is like, we need help.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, let me go talk to the New Republic, and they're just like, no.
They're like, we don't actually have a navy or anything. We can't do anything.
Yeah, and then the communication officer is like, that's the problem without signing a treaty.
Yeah.
So I was like, he didn't sign a treaty, so it's kind of technically independent, but it's still under their jurisdiction and everything else. But they're like, screw it.
Yeah. So the one cop in the whole galaxy goes to where the Mandalorians are hanging out with their like turtle crocodiles or whatever, and he tells them that because Din Djarin's friends with Grief Karga, Carl Weathers' character, and Din says that he was offered land in the first episode.
Yeah.
Where's this land?
Next to the lava flats.
It's prime real estate.
Yeah, prime real estate next to the active volcano.
That's about to erupt at any moment. Yeah. So anyway, they offered him like a huge tract of land.
Yes.
So he's like, oh, well, we could go live there.
Yeah.
Another thing that doesn't go anywhere this season.
It like literally lasts like probably a half a day.
Yeah.
Because they go there and leave.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, they decide to help Navarro.
Yes.
And they defeat the pirates. They kill all of them, including Davy Jones. Except for the guy that was drinking in the school in the first place. Yeah. He gets away, and I guess he's coming back in Skeleton Crew or something.
Yeah, he's going to come back in one of the other shows, I guess.
Yeah, so that character, that like nameless character nobody cares about, he's coming back.
Drinker that tries to drink in schools.
Yeah, so if you're
no, it wasn't a school. It
was
a school.
And it caused everybody to die.
And that literally was the whole episode.
So if that's your favorite character, then you're in luck.
Yes,
he's coming back, and he's going to be drinking in schools across the whole galaxy.
Exactly, that's his whole job.
So, and then here we go.
The controversial episode, because everyone hated it.
Yes, the best episode of the season. Yes. Chapter 22, episode 6, Guns for Hire. The Mandalorian visits an opulent world.
Yes.
That's one way to put it.
Yes.
So this is the episode that Disney put together to sabotage Bryce Dallas Howard's career as a director.
Yes.
Because until this point, she had directed several stellar episodes of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I know of some people that have suggested she should direct a Star Wars movie, myself included. Others think she should direct a Jurassic World movie. And I'm thinking, I think a lot of people thought that until this happened.
Yeah.
And I don't blame this episode on her. She didn't write it.
Yeah, I think it's the writing. Or maybe, I don't know if it's the writing or if it's just the casting. I don't really know.
I don't know what the hell the problem is, but I fear that it may hurt her chances in the future of doing something else. That's not Star Wars. I'm sure she's going to continue directing an episode a season.
Yeah.
But I don't know what her chances are of getting a movie or whatever down the line, because this is not it.
No.
So this is a planet that's run. This is almost like a Cantobite situation of like a weird planet.
It's like a planet where the population doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
They're literally living in like extravagance.
Yes.
They can't they're a direct democracy that literally have all these laws and they can't change them. And they want to have the droids everywhere to do everything for them.
Yeah.
And the whole problem is the droids are like sabotaging the world.
Yeah.
Like some of them are like they're malfunctioning almost.
Yeah. So this planet is ruled over by Lizzo and Jack Black.
Bowser himself.
Yeah, Jack Black, who was a former Imperial.
Yeah, he's a former Imperial that sings Peaches.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. So, and then their chief of security guy who controls the droids is Christopher Lloyd.
Doc Brown himself.
Doc Brown, who is like obsessed with Count Dooku.
Yeah, for Count Dooku for some weird reason.
He's a man who's been dead for like 40 years at this point. So he says he was a visionary and he was cut down in his prime. He was like 90 when he died.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway, he actually is secretly reverting the droids back to their base battle program.
They're actually, the one good thing I did like about it, they were using like a lot of episode 1 droids.
And 2.
Episode 1 and 2 is like the Clone Wars and stuff like that from the first 2 movies.
Yeah, the movies and the Clone Wars show.
Yeah, Clone Wars show.
So yeah, these are like B1 and B2 battle droids.
Which is actually, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think they had a more practical feel to them this time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they were totally CG or if they had actual, like...
Yeah,
it
was hard to tell.
Yeah, it looked more real.
Yeah, it looked like actually a good thing that happened.
But one thing I do have to point out, though, is that the B2 battle droid that they're hunting was programmed by Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Because the dude just takes off running.
Yeah.
And he's, like, impossible to catch. And no battle droid we have ever seen up to this point in the cartoon or movies or whatever can run at all.
Yeah, these guys are, like, running and, like, doing things.
Because they walk, like, super slow in anything else, but whatever. So this episode's just a mess. But the reason why they go there is because Bo-Katan wants to reclaim her fleet.
Yeah, because I think this is the episode where, like, the armor is like, take your helmet off. He's like, you're not really part of this or something.
Yeah, she's like real bizarre.
It was in the last episode. It was like, take your helmet off. Basically, it was like, you walk both ways. This is where you get that scene where it's like, you walk both ways.
Right.
You should take over as the Mandalorian.
The ruler of Mandalore or whatever. So she goes to... She had to go to this planet because this planet actually was hiring the Mandalorians as a defense force. Yeah. Because it couldn't own a military because of Jack Black's Imperial ties.
Yeah, so whatever. I guess it's kind of connecting to the covert, or the that one episode with that Imperial stuff, because it's kind of showing a little bit more of that, where they're getting reacclimated into society, where they're still not trusted.
Yeah. At
the same time. So I'm guessing that's like loosely related.
Right.
Very loosely, but...
So that's kind of the point of this episode.
Yeah.
At the very end, Bo-Katan confronts her former group and finds their fleet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then she has to challenge their new leader.
Axe Wolf or whatever.
Ass Weave or something. Whatever the hell his name's. It's Axe Woves, I think.
Axe Woves.
They fight. Bo-Katan and him fight. Axe nearly kills his own people by firing a rocket into the crowd. And then Bo beats him, but then they're like, oh, you'll still never rule because you need to have the Darksaber to rule. And then that's when Din Djarin brings up this like weird technicality that, in fact, he got beat up by Discount Grievous, which means Discount Grievous was actually ruler of Mandalore for about 20 minutes until Bo-Katan defeated him.
Yes.
So therefore, Bo-Katan is the rightful ruler, wielder of the Darksaber.
Yes.
So
Dr. Wily was the ruler of a planet
for 20 minutes.
For 20 minutes, they got killed.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people were like annoyed with that, but whatever. Din Djarin can't even pick it up, so
yeah, he's like struggling.
I know people like Din Djarin, but like he sucks.
Yeah, he's not the most sharp. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Let's say that.
On this channel, we like to call him Dim Djarin, the simplest man in the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jango Fett may have been just a simple man trying to make his way in the galaxy, but nobody is as simple as Din Djarin.
As Dim.
So, yeah, he can't even pick up the Darksaber. He doesn't know what a Mandalorian is, even though he is one.
He doesn't know what a Jedi is.
He doesn't know what the Force is.
Doesn't know anything.
He literally doesn't know anything.
I mean, he's a bounty hunter that uses like a Naboo fighter. It's like
I guess we'll talk about that for a second. Why does he have a ship with no cargo hold?
When he's a bounty hunter.
When he's a bounty hunter. Who thought that was a good idea?
He did.
I guess.
It's like he bought like a Ferrari as like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, it's like he's got a haul cargo and he bought a Ferrari. That's like literally what he just did.
Like, great.
Cool. So anyway, that's basically that episode.
That episode's kind of like, that was the whole point of the episode.
And then episode 7, chapter 23, The Spies.
Yes.
So this episode had the internet talking, where every Star Wars YouTuber out there had to have a theory about who the spy was.
Which never gets resolved.
It turns out it's no one.
It's no one. Just didn't think of it all along.
Yeah, they forgot to address that.
Yeah, in the last episode.
Yeah. So the new Mandalorian group of everybody comes to Mandalore, and they find their survivors on the surface.
Yeah, because like those two guys have been there this whole time. They're like, we just left these guys here.
Yeah, they're like, no, we've just been living here.
Like it had a very Mad Max feel.
Yeah, it did have a Mad Max feel, because they once again discover the planet's not cursed.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, dummy. They're worried that it was radioactive, not cursed.
Yeah, exactly.
He was worried that the planet was cursed, you idiots. But anyway, they find these guys. These guys take them to the Forge.
Yes.
So they got to go to the Forge of Mandalore.
Yeah.
To make more armor or whatever.
Like the symbol of Mandalore almost.
Yeah, something like that. So, like, they take Bo-Katan there, but then shock, it's a trap.
Yeah.
And apparently Moff Gideon's been hanging out on Mandalore the whole time.
Yeah, he's been mining Beskar this whole time.
Right. Because they found out that his shuttle that was supposed to take him to trial got intercepted, and then he got busted out by a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because they found the Beskar, and they're like, Mandalorians attacked this ship. But that was bullshit.
It was just stormtroopers that had Mandalorian armor.
Because only Imperial stormtroopers can be so precise.
Yes, exactly.
But that went nowhere.
Yeah, because no one believes that guy that like the only police officer.
Yeah, first off, nobody believes that guy. But second off, there was no Mandalorian helping him.
And the New Republic still thinks Moff Gideon like got executed.
They don't know what happened to him. He just fell off the records.
It's like, oh, he's in prison somewhere. It's like, what?
So anyway, like Bo-Katan leads this assault on the Mandalorian base of Moff Gideon.
Yes.
And Moff Gideon has new troopers that are like stormtroopers in Beskar armor, which
is like the first time the Empire has like done any armor like replacement since like
the first and last time.
After the Emperor got them budget cuts to make the hospital.
To make the hospital. Oh my god.
What was that Wikipedia?
Yeah. There's like a children's hospital named after Palpatine or something.
There was budget cuts.
Look into Wikipedia about that.
Wikipedia about Darth Vader's armor.
Oh yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole. We should make a video about that.
Yeah, it's like literally like they had budget cuts at the hospital. So they got budget cuts on the armor.
Right. They got it at a discount.
Yeah.
Bought in bulk on discount. So anyway, Moff Gideon decides to make stormtrooper armor out of Beskar.
Which is a good idea.
Which is a great idea. And then no one ever exploits it ever again because 20, 30 years later, the First Order is back to using plastic again.
And I think the reason why is because, like, I forgot which episode it was, but we didn't talk about it, but he's, like, in some sort of, like, hollow room, but all the other Imperials or something.
Oh, that was this episode.
Was this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, and all the Imperials don't know, like, what all the other Imperials are doing?
Yeah, they're all doing their own thing. That episode, by the way, leads into possibly the last hope for Star Wars, because, well... The Last Hope and this death of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because the one guy's Hux. So that's leading into the sequel trilogy. But then the other guy is like Captain Palaeon or something.
Yeah.
And he's actually from Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, he's Thrawn's like
right-hand man or something like that. Officer or something.
First officer or something like that.
Yeah. So not only is Thrawn name dropped again, but now we're getting other characters from those books as well.
Yeah, Moff Gideon's like, where's Thrawn at?
Yeah,
like,
where is Thrawn?
Why do you keep talking about Thrawn? No one's ever seen him. And
it's because
Thrawn?
He's out in Legends.
Yeah, he's in Legends.
He's not even in canon anymore.
He got Disney.
Kicked out of the canon. But Thrawn's such a badass, he's clawing his way back into the canon.
He just comes back.
They do talk about Thrawn again at the beginning. And then Bo leads her people right into a trap.
Yeah.
Because maybe she isn't the best strategist.
Like, I don't know.
She's not a great strategist.
Yeah, just like their strategy is just go head on in front of all these stormtroopers. That's
pretty much. And then they get cut off. Din Djarin ends up way out in front. Yeah. And he gets captured.
Yeah, because like the blast doors.
Yeah.
Maybe that blast door didn't stop on him, but I think it did eventually or something.
He ran
scene into him getting captured.
He ran out in front like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he's Dim.
Yes.
And then they got trapped. Paz Vizsla, Jon Favreau decides to
he's like
create a distraction.
Tells Bo-Katan, get out of here. I'm gonna help. It's like, I'm gonna take these guys out. You get out of here.
And Jon Favreau's like, I'm tired of voicing this guy. So he runs out there and he fights a bunch of dudes, but then Moff Gideon in the beginning of the episode asked for 3 Praetorian guards.
Yeah.
Who, if you don't know what they are, they're the guys from The Last Jedi. The dudes that don't have visors and can't see out of their helmets.
They're like the red stormtrooper armor.
Yeah, so they're doing like ballet choreography in the background during the fight scene, and they don't actually know what they're fighting, so they're just swinging blindly at things because they have no visibility.
Yeah.
But here, again, they've made improvements, so they actually have like Mandalorian style visors, so they can see out of their helmets.
Yeah.
And because they can see, they're able to fight effectively, and they kill Paz Vizsla.
Yes.
And then a bunch of people got pissed off because they were like, "Oh, that was my favorite guy." I was like, "You probably didn't even know that guy's name."
Yeah. It's vile.
You don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
But so that's the end of that episode.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I mean, I think the major points is like Moff Gideon's actually fighting at this point.
Yes, Moff Gideon is back. He made himself like a pseudo Darth Vader suit.
Yeah.
Out of
dark armor.
Yeah, it was like the Dark Trooper armor or something.
Yeah.
And he has a little clue to what we're about to see in the next episode, because he's like, the best part about them is that I'm inside the armor or something. Yeah,
exactly.
Like it's like, oh, okay. So this brings us to tonight's episode.
Yes.
So chapter 24, episode 8, The Return.
The Return.
And the description is the Mandalorian and his allies confront their enemies. And that's a
weird title. The Return?
Who's
They were already there.
What return?
They didn't return anywhere.
No one returned.
They were there already.
No one returned anything. So this episode, I guess we forgot to talk about Grogu's inside IG.
Oh yeah, Grogu's turned into Kang.
Yeah.
From
or Krang
or from I was about to say Kang the Conqueror.
Although we're hearing that the spot is open for Kang the Conqueror.
Grogu,
apparently,
maybe Grogu can be Kang at this point.
Yeah, apparently there's an opening.
Yeah, Marvel
at Marvel. But anyway,
Grogu's an IG-80 or IG-12.
IG-12 now. And because in the last episode, we also forgot to mention that the Babu Frick, well, it's not really Babu Frick, but whatever, Anzellans or something, he fixed it so that Grogu could pilot IG-11 or IG-12.
Yeah.
So he said that you can now pilot this ship or whatever. And then he proceeds to say, "Bad baby, no squeezies." And then something that sounds very clearly like, "I'm out, motherfucker."
Yeah, it does sound like that.
Bad baby, no squeezies.
It's kind of weird. Like, it's quite strange.
Which may have been foreshadowing Jon Favreau leaving the show. Although I think he's still staying on as a writer and like showrunner and stuff.
I mean, they like taped on like one of those children's toys that talks. Whatever,
yeah.
Has no or yes on
it's
it.
Like switches. It's like literally, like I work in special education and we have students that are nonverbal.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have like a switch.
Yeah.
And you can hit it and be like, no, yes, hi, like that kind of thing. It's literally like that, where Grogu just keeps hitting no or yes repeatedly.
Yes, that's it. And
he's just like, no, 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 and it just goes on forever. And then Din Djarin's like, this isn't working for me.
It's like literally they have all this technology. They couldn't even put like a voice modulator on
Yeah,
it.
no, they couldn't.
Like...
Yeah, it's just literally like yes or no.
Yeah.
So the final episode picks up exactly where the last one left off. Bo-Katan is like trying to fight her way through the city. Moff Gideon sent a bunch of TIE fighters out to attack her fleet that's still up in orbit.
Yeah.
So she sends Axe Woves up there to warn them. And that leads to stupidity.
That was a stupid plan.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I mean, the TIE fighters, the way that docking station, that's like a nitpick. That docking station is dangerous.
It's highly dangerous. It just drops you.
Yeah. It's literally probably like 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And it drops the TIE fighter down, and they have like a millisecond to get into orientation and fly back out.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like the worst design building.
It's terrible.
In existence.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So anyway, the TIE fighters all scramble to go destroy the fleet. Axe Woves, somehow with his jetpack. Also, let's talk about the fact that they ran out of fuel chasing after the pterodactyl.
Yeah.
But this guy could fly out into the stratosphere.
Yeah, I know. He can fly into space.
He's flying out
like
to
a
space.
SpaceX rocket attached to his
He's
back.
Elon Musk designed his
exactly.
jetpack. So he goes flying out into orbit.
Through like a thunderstorm.
Yeah. And somehow outmaneuvers TIE interceptors. Which I believe canonically are faster than regular TIE fighters.
Yes.
He gets to the ship, and what does he do? He doesn't even like tell them anything. He just flies into the ship, and then they're like, "Okay, what do you want us to do?" And he basically tells them all to abandon the cruiser, and get into their fighters and like landing craft.
Yeah, go back to
the surface, and help Bo-Katan on the ground.
He's like, "I'll stay here, sit on the throne, and take a shit."
Yeah, he's just like straining.
Yeah, we watched with the subtitles. And one of the subtitles, it was him sitting on the throne.
Yeah,
with his neck like scrunched into the ground. Looked like he was like constipated or something. And it said straining. It had no other noises. It said straining for no reason whatsoever. So all I can say is like he's probably like taking a shit on this throne room. And he's like, oh, it's like. He had everyone leave the ship because he's like, I don't know, performance anxiety or something. He couldn't take a shit with everyone there, so he was just him shitting on the throne while everyone's flying back down to the surface.
This is the way.
This is the way. But I don't know, why did that subtitle say straining? He didn't want to make any noise. Nothing was making noise.
Well, the subtitles also frequently just tell us that things are whirring, whooshing, and...
when there's no noise.
And warbling.
Yeah, warbling.
So anyway, so Axe Woves is just taking a dump in the command chair.
While everyone's just bombing
So, that aside, that like...
maybe that's how they get their rocket powered subtitle.
There's subtitle nitpicks aside. This plan is stupid on multiple levels.
It's not a very good plan.
So take into account, like, say this is like a real situation.
Yeah.
We'll say it's like World War II or something, because Star Wars is always like World War II when it comes to space battles.
Yeah.
So say you're like in the Pacific or something, and 40 Japanese planes are coming at your aircraft carrier. You're not an American aircraft carrier. So what's your plan? You could scramble the fighters that you have and try to protect your capital ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could tell everybody to just get in their fighter planes, abandon the ship completely, and just leave it to be sacrificed.
Your fighter planes and your, like, dinghy boats.
Yeah. Yeah, so instead this guy decides to sacrifice his capital ship.
Yeah, they got that ship from, like, Moss Gideon, so it's probably, like, state-of-the-art. It's not
how many cruisers or whatever are out there for the Mandalorians to get versus how many gauntlets they can make?
Yeah, I know.
Which is just their typical ship.
Yeah.
And they're all the same ships. So it's clearly a Mandalorian design that they know how to manufacture.
It's like one specific design.
Yeah. So instead of saving the cruiser that has all the firepower, and could literally transport the entire like covert or whatever, they decide to sacrifice that to save a handful of fighters and dropships.
Yeah.
Instead of using those fighters to help defend the cruiser.
Yes.
And the cruiser, I guess, even though it lost its escort, somehow magically destroyed every single TIE fighter.
Yeah, I know.
Because the TIE fighters never returned.
Yeah, it was him, like, just the one guy, Axe Wove, taking down, like, the whole fleet of TIE fighters.
Somehow, I guess he can just automate the
that must have been
the anti-air cannons, even though every other time we've seen, like, somebody has to actually, like...
Yeah, someone has to be sitting in it.
Yeah, like the Millennium Falcon fighting the TIE fighters, you had to actually have gunners. You couldn't just, like, autopilot it.
Moff Gideon's, like, flagship was, like, the most advanced piece of machinery in existence.
Basically, and they just blew it up.
Yeah, he walked in there and blew it up. Because he had to take a shit on the... That's why.
He just told everybody to leave.
Yeah, just leave so I could sit here.
Well, they're not allowed to They're not allowed to eat in front of other people. I guess they're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah, they can't take a shit in front of people. Because it goes later on where, like, this is going ahead, but there was no way he planned for this.
No.
Because they bomb the ship, they blow it up, and he's like literally guides this like blowing up husk into the hole. Mm-hmm. There was no way he would have been like, oh, that's my plan all along.
Right,
I'm going to guide this into where they're at.
Yeah.
There's no way he would have known that.
We'll get back to this.
Yeah, because it's like a weird plan.
But we had to talk about that.
Yeah.
Just from like a strategic viewpoint.
Yeah, that was like the worst.
That was the stupidest plan you could have come up with.
Yeah.
But, so now you don't have a major ship now.
Yeah.
Like, you went from having a fairly advanced fleet.
Yeah, like where you can just destroy all the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And they're probably like militarily trained. So
yeah, well, apparently you have to be to make that, to survive that.
That launch out of there.
That launch out of there. So, yeah, so that's all gone, but apparently he also managed to destroy all the TIE fighters somehow.
Yeah, by himself.
Because they never come back.
Yeah, they're gone. They're like destroyed.
So I guess they're all dead, or they just kept going, one or the other.
Yeah, like screw Moff Gideon. We're leaving.
Screw this guy, we're out.
It's like,
just like that pirate in the earlier episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was one dumb thing.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's fighting her way through. She ends up relinking with the rest of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, because they do like a dropship. They even
that
have
come,
like the armorer.
Yeah, they come from the drop. Yeah, the armorers flying around in a jetpack battle, hitting people with a hammer.
Yeah, he's like, get a blaster. Come on.
She's armed with essentially fireplace pokers.
A poker.
And a hammer. And Bo has her dark saber. This scene's kind of cool where
I did kind of like this scene.
They're all just total chaos. Everybody's just flying around.
You don't
jetpacks.
normally see like jetpack fighting in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a thing that pops up occasionally, like in the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and that's basically that's pretty much what this is. It's just live action Clone Wars. But so that was cool. So I'll give that a point. Din Djarin is being escorted away after he got captured in the previous episode, but he just breaks out and kicks everybody's ass.
He uses R5, his legacy character,
to
open up like the blast doors.
Yeah, he also might actually be Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4.
He does do Leon Kennedy moves.
Because he's got a knife and he uses it to like deflect blaster shots.
Yes, as long as it didn't break. The durability didn't go down to 0.
Right, well he kept changing knives.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, there's like some cool action choreography.
The action scenes there because he was actually using tactics and stuff. He was like
real techniques and stuff.
He took down 2 guys because the way Moff Gideon must have designed his entrance, I guess, was literally a blast door in every spot, and you have to open manually. Which you 2 guys guarding it every time. So
right, which you can do on the outside.
Yeah,
but that's really the way everything is because you got to send your droid to scomp.
Yeah, scomp it, which actually an actual real word, actually. So
well, I don't know if it's a real word. It's a Star Wars word.
Star Wars word.
I mean, it's the same, probably from the same dictionary that Jizzwhaler comes from.
Yeah, probably.
So scomping is when the droid sticks its appendage into the holes in the wall.
Which is kind of weird. That's another weird design. It's like, why would you put that in like the least protected areas?
And they're always designed so that any astromech can just access everything.
Yeah,
even though like you never see the Empire has astromechs, but we never actually see them being used.
Yeah.
In Star Wars. So it's like prior to seeing the astromechs, which by the way are hilariously black and like evil looking.
Yeah.
They even paint their droids evil looking. But before that, I guess you just sort of always assume that the Death Star was specifically designed for R2-D2 to hack it. But that's scomping.
I mean, when your R5 is hacking it, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, he almost gets arrested by the mouse droids.
Yeah. Like their mouse droids just come out with sirens. It's just like mildly inconvenienced.
Yeah, mildly inconvenienced.
It runs into your shins until you run away, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. So Din takes out a bunch of dudes like 2 at a time, which is kind of cool. It was a good idea.
And then he goes and fights, or I guess he is fighting Moff Gideon after that.
Yeah, he fights Moff Gideon. Grogu comes and helps him in the IG suit.
Yeah.
Because he fights Moff Gideon, but then, well, before they get there, possibly one of the most annoying things happens. We discover that the entire plot of this whole show from the start has been that Moff Gideon apparently was trying to use Pershing's studies of Grogu to influence his own clones.
The clones.
So that they had force abilities.
Yeah, and that's what his whole thing was, try to get them.
So he's going to make an army of like new dark troopers that had a person inside the armor, and it was him.
Himself.
But with force powers.
Yes.
So it was like, what was that? Dark Empire or something. I can't remember what it is. There's a... I don't remember the name of it. I'll probably find it and put it up on the video or something. But there's a book out there from like the old EU canon or something where like Palpatine tried to clone himself a million times or something like that. That's basically what this is. And so that's been the whole plot of the show from day one, actually.
Yeah.
Is that they wanted to... This is why they were kidnapping Grogu in the first place. And so they come across a bunch of his clones... And they activate, but then Din Djarin hits the kill button.
Yeah, the genocide button.
The genocide button.
Kills everything.
And just kills them all instantly. So basically nullified the entirety of 3 seasons of this show in under a second.
Yeah, literally just did it and then the thing exploded.
Yeah.
It was unguarded.
And they're all dead.
It literally was unguarded.
And then he goes to fight Moff Gideon after that. And then the Praetorian Guards come out.
Yeah, they come out like the shadows.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere. They're just waiting for their cue.
Yeah, no, it's like literally just like they're fighting Moff Gideon. They just come out of behind like a storage crate.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of them walking out of the
hiding back there. They're on their smoke break.
Yeah, it was really... Yeah, they kind of were because they come out of like this foggy area. Maybe they were on their smoke break.
So
you're not paying me for this.
Yeah, they come out here. They're always late.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Last Jedi. They don't even do anything until Snoke's already dead.
Yeah.
But now they come out. Well, it's because they can't see.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So here they come out and start beating up Din Djarin, but then Grogu shows up in his IG suit, and he's like, no. And then so they all go to fight him, and then they just horribly massacre Grogu.
Yeah.
Just chop him up into a bunch of little pieces, and it's horrible. And no, that's not what happens.
Yes.
Instead, Grogu jumps out of IG-12, which they do destroy.
Yeah, I guess destroyed.
But then he's running around on that giant chandelier, or whatever the hell that is up there, that coat rack.
This is when it turned into the Looney Tunes, which it connects later on.
He's like running around in circles around this giant coat rack that's like
Yeah.
hanging from the ceiling. I'm not sure what the point of that is.
It looked like three guys trying to hit like a raccoon from the rafters.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's running around like Gizmo from like Gremlins, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a little weak.
So the Praetorian Guards go back to what we already knew them as.
Yeah.
From The Last Jedi. They're embarrassingly pathetic. And then Din Djarin manages to hold his own against Moff Gideon long enough for Bo-Katan to show up. She tells him to go save the kid, and she fights Moff Gideon one-on-one.
Yes.
And then so he runs in there to save Grogu, and between Grogu hilariously just tossing them around with the Force, and then Din just executing them with a blaster pistol.
And it was like did he ever use a knife sometime? It was like,
I think,
cutting him the Achilles heels and stuff.
They
was like,
sucked.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
They were bad.
They're the ones that they wanted to get.
Yeah, these are supposed to be like the highest
use
trained.
Use your best guard guys, because they were like holding their own.
They were better than these guys. These guys weren't really any better than those Beskar stormtroopers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're dead again.
Yeah.
And then Grogu and Din come out and they help Bo fight Moff Gideon.
And in the meantime, the Moff Gideon is fighting Bo-Katan. This is like a very irritating part, I would say. Moff Gideon literally like grabs a darksaber out of her hand and crushes it with his fingers.
No, like what the hell is he made out of?
Is he made of like adamantium or something?
So the Darksaber has existed for like 1,000 years and is made of pure Beskar.
He just grabs it with his fingers and breaks it.
And this man just snaps it like a twig. Yeah. It's like, what the hell is Moff Gideon made out of?
I mean, he literally was like doing like those finger push-ups every day or something and broke it with fingers.
What that was. So
it was like, that was what? That thing's lasted 1,000 years. Just grabbed it, just broke it.
Yeah. It's fake.
Yeah. It's like made of like balsa wood or something.
Yeah, she's running around with a fake Darksaber. So that happens somehow, which is annoying.
Kind of weird. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So that
at least it could have been like maybe the Darksaber falls into like the cavern or something.
Yeah.
But it shows it being broken in half. Like
it's bent in half.
It's like someone stepped on it. Like someone dropped their glasses and someone sat in a chair. And
probably what actually happened. That's probably what actually happened. Dave Filoni sat on
the director's chair and broke it. Like, well, I put it in here.
That was the only prop they had. So they had to write it into the script that it was destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, so that happens. Meanwhile, they're fighting Moff Gideon, and Assweave is riding the cruiser into the fortress.
While he's like straining. He's still straining the
whole time.
He's like, he's yelling, "You will not defeat me," while he's taking a shit.
Yeah, he basically, to make a long story short, he crashes the cruiser onto Moff Gideon.
It doesn't make any sense, because there was no way, and like I said earlier, there's no way he would have planned for that.
Yeah, and then it explodes into a giant fireball and engulfs Moff Gideon, but then Bo and Din are saved because Grogu uses his force powers finally.
Like force shield or something.
Yeah, to create like a little bubble. And the fire washes over them, which I'm 100% sure is taken right out of Rebels, because I think Kanan does this exact thing.
Yeah, probably.
At some point. And I'm pretty sure Grogu did this thing in Season 1. But, so that's the big ending.
Yeah. So Moff Gideon's dead.
Moff Gideon and all of his clones are dead.
Yeah, so literally, this is like resolves every single thing in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, pretty much. So the only hope for this show is literally Thrawn.
Yeah.
At this point.
Which I think they said they're going to make a movie or something.
Well, it's going to be in Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah, Ahsoka stuff.
And Season 4 has already been written or something.
Yeah, so, Mandalore is now saved, I guess. So they're back to the Mandalorians now. Live there?
Yes. There's a little bit of an after thing. They kind of, indoctrinate Vile Jr.
Yeah, Vile Jr. is now Vile again. Vile Jr. becomes Vile.
Yeah, and then Grogu gets adopted by Din Djarin.
Yeah, he's like, their parents are dead. Probably.
Which are probably, we don't know.
Probably dead. Let me just I want to adopt this kid.
Yeah.
So he can now be a Mandalorian.
So I guess they said there was supposed to be some like real like tear-jerking moment or something about this.
Was it?
And I was like, was it supposed to be the adoption scene? Because that was like, I thought that already happened like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh, this is your kid. It's like, I thought he already was his kid. Everybody always talks about your kid all the time. Like, Bo even says that in this episode. She's like, go save your kid.
Yeah, I don't know.
But whatever.
Yeah, that might be the tear-joking moment.
Somehow, Grogu is now Din's son.
Yes.
But he's Din Grogu, which I don't understand because, like, Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's still Fett.
Is Fett. Jango Fett. So Fett is the surname. Satine Kryze, Bo-Katan Kryze.
Yes.
Kryze is the surname. So Din Djarin, Din Grogu?
Maybe.
Is he from like the Mandalore, the part of Mandalore that's like Japan or something? Like, why is his surname first and everybody else
Unless he's so dim. He thought that was his surname this whole time.
He doesn't even know his name.
He thought Din was his surname this whole time. They're just making fun of it at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's like, well, I mean, Grogu can't even talk, so
yeah, that's why even the armor is like he can't talk.
He's got to get a growth spurt soon
Yeah,
because like he's 52 years old and he can't even speak.
It really needs to he needs to at least start talking at least a little bit.
Meanwhile, Yoda has a line in Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi or something like that, where he talks about for 800 years trained Jedi I have.
Yeah,
and it's like, and he dies at 900.
Yeah.
So that means that by the time he was 100 years old, he was training Jedi.
So he could talk. You could at least assume he can talk.
I would hope so. So it's like he's teaching people at 100. This kid can't even talk at 52. But then Yoda talks backwards, and we find out in Tales of the Jedi that Yaddle doesn't.
Yeah.
So there might be something just mentally deficient with
Yoda.
with the male members of this species.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty much the ending.
Yeah, I think
they go to Din goes back to Navarro, and Grief Karga gets a huge deal out of this.
Yeah, actually, before that, he goes to the one cop.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I want to start working for the Republic.
Right.
As like selective cases because he can't talk.
Yeah, and the New Republic can't pay him anyway.
Yeah, he's like, who's gonna pay?
Who's paying this guy?
The one guy that goes around the.
You think you're getting paid by that guy on a cop salary?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, who's gonna pay this dude? It's all under the table.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's him, and then there's Dave Filoni in the back with his damn cowboy hat that he can't go anywhere without. Grogu sees an IG head.
Yeah, and they're like, I want that head.
Because there's like a bunch of severed heads sitting over the park.
Yeah, it's like literally has severed heads of like stormtroopers and stuff.
Yeah. And so Grogu's like, I need that guy. And then Din's like, as part of the payment, is like, I need that guy's head.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, that's pretty much what happens here. And then they go to Navarro, where now instead of giving the whole clan of Mandalorians a whole plot of land, now he just has to give one guy a cabin.
Yeah, next to the lava fields.
Next to the lava field.
Still next to the lava fields.
Yeah. And they reveal that IG-11 has been rebuilt somehow.
As a service droid.
As a service droid. He says something about he wishes to pleasure you or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like a sex droid. Like, oh gosh. The fall of IG-11.
So, no wonder Din Djarin was so desperate to rescue him.
Yeah, exactly.
It all makes sense now. So, actually, that character is now the Marshal.
Yeah.
So, they're replacing Gina Carano with IG-11.
Oh, jeez.
I guess
that is true.
That's what happened there.
Okay.
Whatever. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that issue. But that's pretty much their solution, I guess. Although that character, Cara Dune's still alive somehow.
Yeah, they didn't say she was dead.
For some reason, they're just
somewhere.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's training to be in that show that we canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
She's gonna go join the New Republic Commandos.
Yeah.
which are New Rangers or whatever the hell it is, and that's not a thing anymore. And then the final scene is Din sitting at his little homestead with Grogu,
Yes,
who's terrorizing a frog again
Yes.
with the Force. And then the screen just shrinks down to like a Looney Tunes episode.
Yeah. And then the frog comes out of the water and goes, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtop now."
And then it ends with Grogu going, "That's all, folks." And then that's the end of the episode.
That's the weirdest ending. Like, why did
was
they
so
do that?
bad.
It was like a weird transition to the very end.
Yeah, it was literally like a Looney Tunes thing.
Yeah. So we got the origin story of the frog from the Warner Brothers cartoon and the Looney Tunes
Yeah.
thing in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So now Disney just going into the Warner Brothers territory at this
They're gonna
point.
get sued by Max.
Yeah.
This season is absolutely a mixed bag.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but
No,
on
but
the
it's
other
not
hand,
great.
It's not good
No.
because the resolution's not very good.
No. And it was so like middling the entire time.
Yeah, it's like the only bad thing is that what are they going to be doing next, other than like
no
the
idea.
Thrawn thing?
That's all gonna have to be Thrawn.
So basically, Din Djarin stuff. Like, will they even? I guess they said the 4 seasons already made, but where are they going to go from there? They literally don't have anything to go to.
Well, it follows whatever happens in Ahsoka.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's why they were waiting on writing it, because Dave I think it was Jon Favreau, said that he had to wait until post-production was in play for Ahsoka before he could start writing the episodes.
Okay,
So they're like in pre-production for season 4.
so there's going to be like another Boba Fett series episode, like problem,
Yeah.
where probably parts of Ahsoka is just going to be Din Djarin again.
Probably. Like, you absolutely need to see Ahsoka to understand season 4.
Yeah, because if season 4 comes along, you're not going to know what's going. Like that was one of the big issues because we watched this before, like Boba Fett, just like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch those, you wouldn't have known what was going on.
Well, you didn't
At
know.
all.
I told you.
Yeah, because I didn't watch it. I was like, screw Boba Fett. Who wants to watch that? And then I was like, wait a second, that's way big part of this.
Yeah.
It's like the story.
I told you that. It's like you need to watch like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
The first 5 or whatever don't mean anything, but the last 3 you need to see.
Yeah, because that has like nothing to do with anything.
Because one of the most baffling decisions that Disney or any studio has ever done is to set up a like tear-jerker scene at the end of the 2nd season where you separate 2 beloved characters.
Yeah.
And then the very next season, not even in that same show, somebody else's show entirely, they reunite them.
Yeah.
Like in a day.
Yeah, in a day. And I'm sure people will be like, why is Grogu? And like, if you're a casual viewer and you watch Boba Fett,
Right.
you watch the first episode of the prostate.
The prostate, yeah.
It'd be like, why is Grogu there?
Yeah.
That's literally what it'd be saying. Like, why is Grogu there?
Yeah, the picture on Disney Plus is just Grogu.
Like, this is what the casual would be like. Why is Grogu there? Fuck this show, and then turn it off.
Pretty much. Like, I guarantee, I mean, probably not a lot of people did that, but I guarantee some people did that.
Yeah, they were annoyed and be like, did I miss something?
Well, yeah, you did. You missed Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't labeled that.
Yeah, exactly.
What they probably should have done is called it the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's probably what they should have done.
Or something like that.
Or something where you could know it's connected to it.
Right. Because, like, the Continental show that's in the John Wick stuff is now titled The Continental from the World of John Wick or something like that.
So people can differentiate between the two, but at least you know it's, like, connected loose a little bit.
Yeah. There's no connection other than it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
But, like, Obi-Wan's Star Wars, and that doesn't have anything to do with anything. But,
and
like,
the bad thing is, like, we saw, like, last week we looked at some of the figures.
Yeah.
Boba Fett was one of the least watched shows.
Yeah.
Out of all, like, the Star Wars shows.
I think the only one that was worse was Andor.
Yeah, Andor was the worst one. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So all those people wouldn't have known what was going on, like, what happened here in Chapter 17.
Yeah, because Book of Boba Fett was, like, half the viewership of Mandalorian. So that means, like, 50% of the people didn't watch that episode.
Yeah, didn't watch it. And didn't watch those last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of it's a weird... And Ahsoka's probably going to be the same way.
Yeah, Ahsoka...
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like more people... I don't know. I don't like. I want to say more people would watch Ahsoka, but I don't know because like Boba Fett is certainly a more widely recognized character than Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, no one really, unless you watched the Rebels. Or
Ahsoka, you're only going to be
Clone
excited
Wars.
to see Ahsoka if you watch the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah, because she really didn't do very much in season 2. I mean, she was there for.
She's there, like she's in it, but so is Boba Fett.
She's kind of like she's just kind of like the mentor. Like I don't really mentor, but just like the.
Well, she's off on her own little quest.
doing her thing.
She's looking for Thrawn.
Yeah, doing her thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of your only introduction. It's like, if you're a casual, again, going to a casual viewer.
Yeah.
If that was your only introduction to Ahsoka was last season of Mandalorian, would that generate enough interest to be like, let me watch a show about Ahsoka?
Yeah, general audiences are stupid. Like, you have to, like, spell everything out for them. If you don't say that Ahsoka's directly connected to the Mandalorian, they don't know that.
Yeah, they're going to be like, okay. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen with Ahsoka, because it's going directly into Thrawn.
Yeah.
And directly into season 4. Yeah, that's going to be a couple episodes.
There's going to be episodes for sure that are connected to season 4. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be the same issue again.
And it's going to be like, okay, that's a weird way of doing it. Without actually, I mean, they've explained it, but if it, like I said, again, your major audience isn't going to know that.
They don't know anything. And I'm much more excited for Ahsoka than I was for Book of Boba Fett. Because I didn't like the direction they were going with Boba Fett being Daimyo of Mos Eisley or whatever the hell he was. That was kind of stupid. Because like Boba Fett was just like a badass bounty hunter. There's no reason why you need to have him be like the mayor of a town or something like that. That was stupid. And then
like a crime lord that's like not a crime lord.
And then the very end of the season, they're like, this is stupid. We need to do something else.
Yeah.
Like, that's like literally it. Like, Boba Fett's walking around the street, and then he talks to Fennec, and he's like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what the hell is the last 7 episodes we watched? Like, why are you doing this then?
He's just like, just wanted to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So, yeah, that show kind of was stupid, too.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka looks cool because it's going to bring in Thrawn, and it seems like a retelling of Heir to the Empire.
Which, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably using maybe, like... I'm assuming they were going to add some more characters because they had, like, Leia and stuff in the book.
Yeah, and Han's in there and stuff. So they may be kind of doing proxy characters or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 Dark Jedi in the trailer. Yeah. They may be replacing, was that Sabaoth or something like that, with this Skull guy. And then Hati's this woman that people are speculating, but the speculation never goes anywhere. Yeah. Like, it's never, the fan theories are never what actually happens. Yeah. But some people are saying that she might be like a Night Sister or something, which are kind of like Sith witches or something. But then some people also think that she could be like the Mara Jade replacement or something like that.
Which I don't think. Dark Jedi aren't considered Sith, are they?
No.
So they're kind of like a little bit different. Almost like gray.
Sorta, yeah.
They're not really dark. I guess they're more dark, but not like, I guess the anti-hero.
Yeah.
the anti-hero
It's weird,
Jedis,
but and who knows what the canon explanation will be.
Yeah, because they're the ones, I guess it's the first time we'll see orange lightsabers.
Yeah, because they got weird, like, thick orange lightsabers that some people were like, that's a CG error or something. And then Dave Filoni's like, no, we did that on purpose. You have to watch the show to find out why.
Why there's orange lightsabers.
Yeah, and why they look different than normal lightsabers. But whatever. So I'm pretty excited for Ahsoka. It's coming soon. I think it's like August or something.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, so it's only a few months away. And then who knows when Mandalorian Season 4 is going to happen. Hopefully sooner than Season 3.
Yeah.
That was another thing that hurt this show, too, because there was like 2 years between.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. That will, like... It's like the Dragon Ball effect. It destroys your hype the longer you wait.
Yeah.
And then they don't say anything.
And then we're on, like year 5 since the previous season?
So that's like what's happened. Like, I would assume that's probably part of the reason why the show did not... I mean, it's not bad.
No, it didn't do terrible. It actually only dropped off by like less than 10% from season 2.
Like, season 2 was like
70s.
This was like 65. So it's not like it was that bad.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It's still
by far the most popular show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
At least Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, yeah.
But I'm assuming part of it was because the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah.
And probably the gap. Because people are like, after a while, people will either forget and are just like, again, general audiences.
Yeah.
Like, not like us, where we watch it no matter what.
Right.
Like, general audiences aren't going to wait that long.
Yeah.
They have to have something to stimulate their stuff their Abdengala, or whatever that thing from the brain, every second of the day. So, or they're going to forget about it.
Mm.
So, I have a feeling that's probably what happened, at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so as you probably could tell, we didn't absolutely hate this season.
It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad. It's just...
We didn't love it.
There was some missteps, I guess.
This is for sure the weakest season.
Yeah, this is not the strongest season.
Unquestionably. Season 2 had that ending with Luke Skywalker that like blew everybody away.
Yeah, which was a pretty epic ending.
Nobody's going to be talking about this.
Yeah, what's the epic ending here?
No, this...
Moff Gideon can break the Darksaber with his fingers. I mean,
like, what the hell is he made out of?
Yeah, what is he made out of?
So, yeah, this ain't it. Like, no one cares. The problem with season 2, though, was you bring in Luke Skywalker, and then it's like, where do you go from there? How do you top that?
Just drop him in the middle of the episode of Boba Fett.
Of Book of Boba Fett, yeah, different show, and then just don't even address him at all in season 3.
Yeah, it's like, oh, remember Luke Skywalker?
Nah.
No.
Who? Jake Skywalker.
Yeah, Jake.
Luke. Are we getting Luke?
Yes.
I hope so. If people don't know, Luke is the evil clone of Luke.
Yeah.
Which I think is in that.
That's how you know he's evil.
Yeah, it's like Luuke. That's why we're saying it that way. We're not having a stroke.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not pronounced like that, but we're gonna say it. I think each subsequent time you clone Luke, they just add another U.
Yes.
So at some point, like every failed experiment, you have to improve upon it. So like the 15th Luke, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, just way U's.
He's like haunted.
Yes.
So anyway, I hope that happens. I want all the stupid crap that was in the EU.
Yes, and that needs to come back.
The dumbest ideas they ever had all need to come back.
Like the budget cuts.
The budget cuts at the Palpatine school for the gifted.
Yeah, school for the children, gifted children.
So, yeah, that is pretty much what we had to say about Mandalorian. So that's going to do it for our review this time. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing for more content like this in the future. And you too could feel the strength welling within. See ya.
See ya.